I work for Myriad Consulting and Training, and I specialize in film and television preservation. And I got involved through this project. It was grant funded, so I was allowed to come on as a consultant and work with all of the oral histories that are in the TV interviews collection. And it's been a really great experience so far. I've been able to work closely with a lot of folks and work on preserving some of the oral histories that have taken place since the 80s. I think I've gotten into this role specifically to, focus on our historical culture, our cultural heritage, specifically in television. There's a lot of folks whose voices you may not necessarily hear because they're not front and center. They're not necessarily famous celebrities, but they're behind the camera. And I always thought that, as someone who came from actually a filmmaking background, that it's important to preserve everyone's voices who's had a role in making television. These oral histories that we've been working on have existed on a number of different formats, different media formats over the years, so we've had to make them more accessible by digitizing them. And that is always a challenge. A lot of these tapes that were recorded on have been sitting around and haven't been played in a long time, so a lot of the process is playing them back, making sure that they haven't degraded, and then making sure the files are safe for the long term. Through a lot of different copies. We were working with USC on this project. They have a digital repository that provides a lot of different microservices that allows us to keep track of these files, make sure that they're well defined, and that there are copies in various locations across the country. I am excited to just sort of experience this whole sort of venue. I've never been to LA, so this is my first time. And I'm just excited to be able to experience folks winning awards for things that they're really proud of doing. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of different roles that exist in this field that you may not necessarily think of when you first start imagining moving to Hollywood or moving to New York. And they're just as important, if not, more important. And it surrounds the preservation of the work that's being done by both television producers and in filmmaking. So I think that if you broaden your horizon and expand, the possibilities of what you could do in this field, you can find yourself making a really big impact.